think this is the last time that Bill Drummond will be presenting him, will be dressed up as Bill Drummond.
Okay.
Okay? So I've got to get dressed up as Bill Drummond now,
Okay.
right? So, and then we'll get into doing the 40-minute interview with you.
Okay.
But, so this is Bill Drummond's blue shirt, which I've been wearing for all public. So I'll be out of shot now, or this bit will be in shot.
Yeah.
So for any public things I've been doing for the past, I don't know how many years, I've been wearing this shirt.
That is the shirt.
And one of a number of jeans that are the same, but I can't get any new ones of them.
Okay.
So that's why. Okay, so I'm now dressed up as Bill
All right.
Drummond.
Okay.
Hi, Paul.
Hey,
And I'm here in your shop to
yes.
interview you.
Yes.
40 minutes.
Yes.
Ask you 4 questions.
Yes.
And about past. So the 4 questions, as I've indicated, I think in our email exchanges.
Yeah.
What is the past? What is the past for?
Yeah.
When did you first become aware of the past?
Yeah.
And
When would you consider pressing delete
Yeah.
and ending your
So
thing with the past?
yeah, okay. What is the past?
I struggle with this one. I guess it's you getting changed into Bill Drummond.
Yeah.
It's as far back as I can remember. But it goes further than that.
What's your first memory then?
Yeah,
Be a very
yeah,
first.
yeah, very first. One of the first ones I can recall when I must have been, I think I was maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4. Slowly edging my way down the stairs in the rented house that my mum and dad lived in. Brothers and my other 2 brothers hadn't been born because of the noise. And the noise that was in the front room was a band that my dad was playing with a couple of mates and 2 uncles.
So you're crawling down the stairs or up the stairs?
I'm going down the stairs really slowly.
To get to the music?
I'm going down on the back side. Slowly once, it's difficult to come, but you get the gist.
No,
That's it. I could hear this drums and guitar and people laughing. The smell of Party 7, it was back then. Party 7. That kind of thing. Yeah, that's one of my. That's probably the most lucid memory, the clearest memory I've got.
Well, my earliest memory is crawling upstairs.
No,
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I, for a long time, thought, well, how, I had this memory.
Yeah.
So whether it's a memory of a memory of a memory.
Yeah.
And I was holding on to it. And I knew where it was, these stairs. I'd never been back there, never been. But then when I turned 60, I think it's when I turned 60, so I'm 68 now, we went, it was a hotel, and we spent one night in that hotel before we moved into a new house. So it was like a new chapter in our life.
Yeah.
And I think it was just before I turned 2. So we went and stayed back in this hotel.
Yeah.
Which I'd never been into, or never gone up the stairs, and I went up the stairs, and there it was. It was the corner. It was this. I had this memory of this corner going around this corner,
And that came.
and the corner was there.
And it hit you.
And
there
it
it was.
No, well, I knew, and I'd held on to the memory all my life.
Okay. Yeah.
And getting there, and it was exactly how I remembered it to be. But going back,
Yeah, that's all.
well,
That's interesting, because how could, when you say it was exactly how you remember it to
well,
be.
yeah, the actual look.
Oh, the kind of the way it flowed,
the way the stairs went round the bend.
Okay.
You know.
And that was exactly.
Yeah.
This was your memory there.
Yeah.
It's like presenting.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
yeah, this is for real. This is,
Wow.
and obviously that thing of moving into a new home must be, you know, it's all things are changing. But anyway, you got down the stairs at your dad's band.
Yeah.
What
I came down, and I think this is where it starts getting a bit fuzzy. I think somebody noticed me, and I think came and I think picked me up. And I can remember being quite pleased with myself, because whoever picked me up, it might have been my mum. They took me into the room, and they were just. That's about it. I can't really remember what happened then, but yeah.
Okay.
So
did your dad carry on with his music? Is that something
he
What did
him and his friends did, but they got as far as playing in the local pub one evening in the what would have been, that would have been the late 60s, I guess. I was born in 64, so this took place around 67. I do remember he did write a little short story about this thing. Since he's retired and since my mum passed away, he's been pretty active with doing stuff. But one of the things he's been doing is writing down his memories.
Okay.
And one of those is what happened with his couple of his brothers-in-law and his mates. And there was some promoter or somebody came in and offered them some kind of, I can get you boys, that kind of thing. I can make you whatever, and of course they never did. But it was just a.
Did they have a name?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. Not without finding the story.
Yeah. Okay.
All I remember is they had. I think there was somebody played a guitar, somebody played bass. There was some kind of drums, and one of my uncles did something with recording and microphones. He was like the. What? I don't know. That's it. No, but that's what I recall. And the other one is my dad singing "Mr. Tambourine Man" by Bob Dylan to me when I was trying to sleep, and that was probably around a similar time. But I do know it was at my uncle's house in Tilehurst in Reading. That's it. Yeah.
Was that a regular thing he'd sing to you? Would that be a thing he'd sing every night? Mr. Tambourine Man, was that his?
I don't know if he did every night. I can remember him singing me songs. He first taught me the guitar and played me Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac, that kind of really, as well as Elvis, Buddy Holly, and all that kind of stuff. On his 45s that he had, my mum would go, "John, turn it down. It's too loud." And he'd go, "Oh, it's only for a few minutes," and whatever. But that was his. That was his thing. That was how he taught me to play guitar. And,
I had an imaginary band around then.
Did you?
Called Big Bill's Bouncing Blues Babes. And it was totally influenced by the first Fleetwood Mac album.
With Jeremy Spencer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who's the one that was it Spencer that disappeared in the middle of an American tour? He went out for a packet of cigarettes.
Danny Kerwin.
Oh.
Okay. I'm afraid I know these things.
Yeah, me too. Me too, because I've been versed in them over the years. But anyway, yeah.
And I hope you don't mind me saying it. No. So, where I am currently living and have lived for the past just over a year, now a year and a few months, I walk past this. It's in Southgate, suburban North London.
Yeah.
And it's the Southgate Blues Club. And that triggered a load of things in my head. And I ended up going back in my head to these songs that I'd written in 1968. and I kind of reworked them. And I thought, okay, Big Bill's Bouncing Blues Babies are going to play at the Southgate Blues Club or whatever it's called. It's not called the Southgate. It's in the Southgate Club, but it's called. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, okay.
And but I've got this thing about Spaghetti Junction, and I've rewritten the songs, but all relating to Under Spaghetti Junction. But I don't know if and I kind of imagined it all. It was now going to be a stand-up bass and a drummer just with brushes.
Yeah.
And
nice.
But I wouldn't be saying that because obviously you mentioned Pete Green's Fleetwood Mac then, and obviously this triggers stuff in my head.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's just my dad went to see Peter Green as well after he'd
quit. And had his
and then he was found again because I can't remember, but my mum worked for, this was back in Woburn Sands in Milton Keynes when they were living there. My mum worked for a removal company who I think one of the guys that ran it was a real Peter Green freak, and so there was some connection between then my dad and my mum and this guy, and he kind of, I don't know what he'd done, he'd managed to come back from the brink and made an out record and played, and I guess in some ways I sort of thought, yeah, fair play, because God only knows what he did with them royalties checks. Apparently I don't think he did anything with them, I think he just whipped them up, because I think they made a few quid on that early stuff.
I mean, they had those, Albatross, Man of the World,
Mino would fly.
I mean, Green Man Alicia.
Yes, Green.
Those were.
Wow. Now we're
So anyway, that's the past. But what's it for? Why? Why? One of the things is like trees. Trees don't think. People celebrate trees for living all this time. Well, they don't sit there in the middle of a field going, I remember back in Victorian times.
No.
Why, as a life form, do we have this thing called the past? And what and hanging over us?
That is true, because one of the things I was thinking about when I read your email about the questions was there's something I immediately felt, the past, it was a negative. It was like, oh no, you're kidding me. We went, oh God. Thankfully though, what we started our conversation seemed to be something that was quite joyous and warm and so we're going good. We're so far.
But sometimes the past hangs over you. Past relationships.
Oh, past relationships, past marriages, places you've lived.
Yeah, things you've done
people
and then fucked up.
Yeah. Money you've spent and
or not spent.
I don't know. Do we learn from it? Do we? I don't know.
Is that like?
But then.
Is that what it's for? To
no,
learn from?
Surely not. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Because I don't know who. Somehow we then. All of a sudden my brain's just exploded, and I've kind of. I'm travelling through space and time and thinking, well, who the bloody hell gave us this brain?
Because you think, we're supposed to learn from it, but
no.
The male ego doesn't seem to, like. I mean, I'm going to go into obviously the news today. You look at men who end up running countries, and I'm thinking they're making the same fuck ups that was made 2,000 years ago. And the male ego, I can't speak for the female ego, but the male ego doesn't seem to learn. Or
no, but I don't think it remembers properly in some way. Because here's the thing, my interpretation maybe of what was going on, let's say, pick that topical thing, that this I guess we're talking about
what's happening in Ukraine and all of that, and Russia's past.
Oh,
and
Russian
Empire.
Yes, and all of that, and
yeah.
Jesus, and then people tell me on the radio, oh well, Putin really hated the breakup of communism and all of that, and how everything fell apart, and he couldn't deal with it being an ex-KGB officer, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know whether that's true or not. Who knows? It probably doesn't matter. But nevertheless, he will remember the past in his way.
Yeah.
And you, me,
Yeah.
Idiot Johnson, I can't bring myself to say his first name,
Yeah.
has got advisors and his own memory of something. So is the past something you can make into whatever you want? Can you do that? Because it seems to me politicians tend to do that quite a bit. There wasn't a party. I didn't go to a party. No rules were broken. You know, they did. No, I did go to a party. It was a work event. It wasn't a work. How does? You know,
neither of us are politicians, so or
no,
maybe you are. Maybe you are. Are you a
well,
local councillor?
Actually, I'm not. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
No,
but we have. I guess we both have pasts as artists, and the history of art, and that hangs over us, and now we're confronted with the fact that the history of art that we may have been introduced to is very much a white male Western history of art, and we have to sort of go, oh yeah, all right, okay, so we have to take this on board.
And I suppose kind of digest that.
Yeah.
And go, sometimes, well, where do I start? What's my opinion?
Yeah.
What
I mean, you're not at the stage of life that I am, but you're not in the first flush. You know? So
Never
you must have seen.
That's
you must
true.
have seen these things evolve and change, and think, well, where the fuck does that leave me now in my 50s? I take it you're in your 50s.
I am. Yeah. I'm 58
Yeah, okay.
on
So
on the 29th.
And that's
How do I stand with all of that?
Yeah.
You're right. Because
and we can say, so I'm looking at you now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your boots. We're in Bristol, you know. We can tip things into. We can celebrate people tipping things into the into the river,
water.
into the water. But you know, I'm looking at your trainers and thinking, well, I wonder where they were made and who made them and how much they got paid an hour. And is that much different to slave trade and etc. I'm not passing judgment on you.
No. It's valid.
So what they're going to be saying in
question.
200 years, and when we're the past, and
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. These actually, I got them second hand from St Mark's Road in Easton. They were £8.
Is that
Not
a
that
charity
that makes, but that but that kind of, I don't have, apart from underwear and socks, I haven't bought anything new for, I can't remember. There's still a story behind it. There's a past.
Yeah.
The same to the jeans.
Yeah.
You got Levi's? Are they Levi's?
They are,
I don't
yeah.
know. These are Levi's, different model, different make, different age, but hey, there's a past to them, isn't there? You're right. This thing about the thing about slavery, the thing about production of stuff.
Yeah.
What does it signify? Trainers. I grew up when trainers meant you were an athlete.
Yeah.
You ran, or you wore them to the match and put your football boots or rugby boots or whatever.
Yeah. So two things my partner might throw in here.
Yeah.
She'd be very pleased to hear about you getting the stuff from the charity shop, because she aims to get everything she wears from charity shops.
Yeah.
Okay? The other thing she would say would be, yes, but at least that person's got a job, that woman's got a job who made those because she can sort of identify, even though she's second generation here, she would think, well, it's their
at least they can put something on
Yeah,
the table
yeah,
at night,
yeah.
or every
That's. I think she'd kind of argue that.
even though it's what's the word when you take advantage of somebody? I can't think of the word.
Yeah,
There's loads
okay.
of words for it. Oh, no, it's gone. Even though that business model may be
Yeah.
exploitative.
Yeah,
That's it.
of course it is. Yeah.
But nevertheless, £5 a week is, or whatever it is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Or £2 a week.
Yeah,
I
Okay, I'm going to
It's
give you
tricky.
information something here, and
Okay.
it's to do with the past, and again it's to do with my partner,
Okay.
and who, as I said, buys things from charity shops,
Oh.
and she'll come home with these things and say, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And what I find difficult, I mean, she's younger than me, so what she will come back with, and it will be retro, or be whatever for her. For me, I'll be looking at that and thinking, yeah, but that was what the boring people used to wear when I was blah 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 age. But now she sees it in a different way, you know, and that's a strange thing for me. And
I don't understand that stuff. Peaky Blinders, they all wear hats.
yeah,
And they're cocaine fueled, you know, mafia type, whatever. Exploitative, perhaps
Yeah.
might be the word. No, I hate them. I don't hate them. The hats, the fashion,
yeah.
and then I don't know. A few years ago, all of a sudden, hats like this became. I mean,
Yeah.
it's popular. What's that all about?
Well, and the haircuts, the Peaky Blinder,
Ah.
the influence Peaky Blinders has had on haircuts currently, and you. So I was watching, like, my youngest son,
Yeah.
who's 9,
Yeah.
who's going through night by night
Yeah.
Doctor Who, right? So he's in the Matt Smith era now. So that's like 2012,
Okay.
I think.
Ish,
So
yeah.
nobody, and those you can see all just the people there in that era. Peaky Blinders has not arrived yet. So all the guys, everybody in the background, everybody doesn't have the really short haircuts. Now with Peaky Blinders, that haircut, that kind of
Yes.
19 or their version of the 1920s,
Where it's
not
shaved even more here.
shaved right
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Shaved right
And then the
off.
top bits.
So yeah, so
Footballers are very
all
big on that at the
all
minute.
the footballers are doing that haircut. So if you saw footballers from 2012 to now, the Peaky Blinders effect is massive. But if you were to go back to, I don't know when it's set, 1922?
Yeah, something like
somewhere
that.
in the
20s, 30s, yeah.
Actually, it's nothing, not nothing like, but it's. And I was talking to somebody who from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Says how the accent actually I've never seen Peaky Blinders. Okay, I've just seen stills. All right.
Oh.
I've never watched it.
Oh man, Bill, you were talking with such authority.
Okay.
Oh.
No, the authority comes from my 21-year-old son, who's totally into Peaky
Fair
so
enough.
My 9-year-old Doctor Who,
Okay.
my 21-year-old
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders.
So you actually, well, in a sense, if, they are experts. Certain,
Yeah.
You know, I have similar things with stepsons and daughters.
Okay.
They are experts on certain things. So your 21-year-old is an expert on
On Peaky
PB.
Blinders. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I mean I see the images on posters or maybe trailers or something.
Yeah.
And that thing about the past constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So anytime that there's a period drama, the period drama is really set in the now version of
them.
Of them.
So you've got differences. Clearly, those clothes probably weren't made in, but probably weren't made in the 1920s. Maybe, I don't know.
And as I was going to say, I understand the accent is nothing, not nothing.
No,
It's a version that is more, that they think is maybe more appealing to a broader, because usually the Brummie accent, I'll say the wrong thing here, but often to the wider thing is Brummie accent means it's used as like thick. Should we be saying that? Maybe not.
Maybe, I'm not sure, Bill.
Pardon?
I'm not sure, Bill. Maybe. Yeah, you might have. I don't
Whereas
know.
the kind of the Liverpool
okay,
accent is
so-
considered cool.
Liverpool.
Yeah, it's cool. Or maybe I'm saying this wrong.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. No, maybe. I don't know. We need to phone. Maybe we need to phone a friend or something.
Maybe I'm
I don't
saying
know. No. But so the accent isn't quite what it would have been, because I guess there must be recordings from back then.
Yeah, there will.
So you can compare it.
Actually, have you watched Thingy Jackson's thing about they shall not grow old, about the First World War? Okay, forget that.
No, I haven't. No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
But it's that reinvention is everywhere, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Of
yeah.
you know, I mean, in whatever art form, I suppose.
And I guess we reinvent our own pasts. Would you say, is there anything you've reinvented in your past? I mean, I'm not here trying to force you to admit things, but, you know, just...
My lips are
See,
no, yeah, no, I don't have anything to say. No.
Yeah.
Well, have I, I think there was there's been moments where I've kind of made things.
yeah.
I've either failed to mention certain things that might cast my general
Yeah.
thrust of what I was trying to say about myself. I kind of might keep some things.
So, do you have to, in your job,
Yeah.
do you find you have to do a CV or a, you know,
No.
a kind of...
Oh, to get this place I did. When I
Yeah.
applied for this place I did. And yes, various other writing type things I have to, yeah.
I think
I do, yeah. And it's, yeah, I mean, okay, so 3 years travelling around in Spain, not doing a great deal with my daughters when they were little, living in a van, becomes home education, and I forget how else I worded it in my CV. Just sorry, anyone that's
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, there's a
What years were those?
home education. That was between 2000 and 2003. Yeah.
Well, that can be romanticised hugely.
Of course.
Of course it
Oh,
can.
yes.
Yeah.
Whenever it suits, I also I can say I was a builder for 3 years in Spain,
Hey.
which I did do a bit of that,
Yeah.
but I didn't write or do anything very much. But then again, I don't,
Yeah.
what is art? I mean, but sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, but where do you?
We're not going
what
to
do
go
you-
there.
No, we're not.
I don't think.
No, that's fair enough, and that's a good thing. Yeah. So we got that.
Whereabouts in Spain?
The past in the province of Almeria, a village called Sorbas. Desert, very dry, beautiful.
See, I've romanticised my relationship with Spain and Portugal.
You do?
I know.
Go on then.
I remember reading what's his face's book about going down from the West Midlands, and they went down and joined the Civil War there in the 30s.
Oh,
I wonder what side.
Orwell and those guys.
Not Orwell.
Not
But
Orwell,
it's
but
that
that
generation.
kind of
It's,
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I woke up one morning, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I can't.
But anyway, you know, that going off and joining the revolution, you know, that, you know, as a sort of
Very
18,
exciting.
19-year-old, you know, and so when things started kicking off what is now being called the Carnation Revolution in Portugal, when they were overthrowing their dictatorship,
Yeah.
I hitchhiked down there,
Okay.
and and I wanted to be part of something. And of course, somewhere inside myself thinking, I was off to, but, you know, so I hitchhiked, you know, got across the channel, hitchhiked the whole way down, got there, and of course, I wasn't really doing it. I wasn't, you know, there's no part of me that could do. And of course, I got there, I think I knew it was already over, but in my head, or in my version of myself, I was going there to, and I remember hearing gunshots, but they were just celebrations that it was all over.
Okay.
But I think I knew it was already all over. And then
you just want to grab a bit of it. The smell of it,
yeah,
the kind of feel of it,
and
even the taste of it, all of that, especially a different country. Oh, it's so appealing.
And then I remember hitchhiking then back through Spain to Barcelona, and it was still under Franco. And it was still all under that. But of course, I wasn't actually doing anything to attempt to overthrow Franco. No, you know. I just came in after the fact in Spain, but in Portugal, but then I got to Barcelona, and I have romanticised my experience of Barcelona. Then this is so. When is this? 73, I think. Wow. And I went back at some point to Barcelona. I was so disappointed. So I held on to that romantic image of Barcelona in 73.
Yeah, and it's, of course, it's always disappointing, isn't it? That stuff. That. One thing I remember. I spent some time squatting in East London in the early 90s in Leighton, where they were building an N11 extension route in Claremont Road, and I met a number of amazing people, lots of experiences, quite a lot of protesting and trying to rebuild houses and get people occupying the houses and protesting. And one of the women that I met was a woman called Dorothy Watson, and she was born in 1901 in that street. And she could, talking of the past, what she could remember of Zeppelins going over, and let alone before you get to the Second World War, and she could quote great big chunks of Shakespeare. She did amateur dramatics, and she was just amazing to sit there, and she had, I kid you not, she had not been upstairs for about 7 years because she'd done something to her back and had been in hospital and couldn't climb the stairs. She had one bar on her electric fire that she would make toast. She had an outside toilet. She had a cooker with one ring that worked and a kettle. She always drank a sherry around about 10 in the morning, and she smoked 40 Lambert and Butler a day. And she died a few years short of her 100th birthday, sadly. And the evictions had happened. They built the blooming motorway, and she got into some care-supported housing. And I was in Spain when she died, and I heard, and we drove. I remember driving to Barcelona, Baracas, is it Baracas Airport in Barcelona, in a car that had no tax or anything. We got a plane over to England, stayed with some mates in East London, and there was a service. And it was during the foot and mouth thing in the early 90s, and there was a service for Dolly, and everyone that could make it, who had scattered to the four corners of the world, who had spent time in Claremont Road and that area in New Dolly, went along. And unfortunately, because of the foot and mouth, we wanted to get a horse-drawn cart to take her through out to the. But we ended up with an electric motorcycle. That was the best.
Fantastic.
Fine. And I have photos and she and that had a big effect that whole time in East London. And weirdly enough, a colleague of yours I bumped into during something that I was doing in Tottenham actually a few years ago, and he said that you guys had offered the protesters a tank and you'd offer to park it and fill it with concrete, you know, to help with it, not with the road, you know, to help as a barricade, as a which I had not heard of that before, but he said, no, we did. And I was like, oh, well. Yeah, but anyway, that moment in that time, so there you go, memories, what you recall, you I don't know, I do not know. But Dolly was amazing, yeah. Dolly was amazing. Used to take her to the post office, because that was when she could still just about walk. Get a pension, do a shop, blah blah blah. Anyway, but
two things on that.
Yeah.
My father's first memory, okay, so was a Zeppelin over Edinburgh, and it's only in the past 2 months. So my dad died at age of 96 in a few years back. He was born in 1913, and I thought. Can he remember that kid? Was there a Zeppelin over Edinburgh? As one does in the modern world. And of course there is.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh wow, it must have been that. It must have been that one. They didn't drop in it, but just suddenly everybody was completely freaked out. What is this thing? And this Dolly woman must have felt the same thing over London.
Because she used to say, if the cat ran under the stairs into the coal cupboard, we knew we were in for it. That was one of the things.
And the other thing you were saying, you passed comment on then. So I am aware, and this maybe I've said this in the email. One of the reasons because I've got such, I've had a series of brain seizures, and over the past, well, I haven't had one for over a year now, so. Hopefully, I'm on the medication, hopefully. But there's so much memory has gone, so much memory. And I had a phone call to do with something yesterday, and I'm going to this guy, look, I can't remember that, blah, blah, blah. And then and there was something else I can't remember. So I phone, so on the train coming down to Bristol today, I'm on the phone to the colleague who I guess you're referencing, to ask him, say, look, Jimmy, did we ever blah blah blah? Yeah. She says, yeah, Bill, can you remember? I'm going, what? So we were on the White Cliffs of Dover doing, and I'm thinking, standing on the top of the White Cliffs of Dover doing what? And I can't remember. And then there's this other thing. So I can't remember the idea of filling a whatever with whatever. That doesn't mean to say.
I wrote a book about my time around there with photos and kind of poetry-ish experimental stuff, and I read from some of that when I saw your colleague, and it was to do with a diorama that he'd made.
Yeah.
It was tremendous, but and that's when he told me about it, because he bought a copy of the book and went, guess what? Back in the day, we did. Anyway, I did.
Actually,
but there you go. That's one of the things.
The other reason why I said in Bristol, so I've got to go and see this guy afterwards.
Yes.
Is to do with film, to do with stuff to do with this.
No.
Well.
Wow. Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Who's this person I've worked with?
Yeah.
Since I was 17, he was 16, and he's filmed. Well, we've worked together in lots of different ways, but anyway.
Did he do any of the work on the People's Pyramid? I've got my brick at home, by the way.
No, the guy here. No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Okay. But do you feel threatened by your past? Does it get in the way?
Yeah. Certain things that happened, experiences, have become hauntingly difficult to manage, and
don't worry, you don't.
No, I'm not going to. No. So some of it, I'd have to say, that's why I said yes immediately, because, yeah, there certainly is. There's also stuff that I love. Memories, certain places, smells, trips, often the smallest thing, the little things that I suppose. But then I did wonder, like you said right at the beginning, well, what's that for?
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
See, like,
I don't know what it. I don't.
we've got a cat at home now, and she's only 6 months old.
Mm.
I'm thinking, well, what memories does she have? You know, what are they for? What you know?
Don't know.
She remembers I'm the one that she wants to wake up in the morning to come and feed her.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we've got three. My partner Sarah and I, and they often wonder what happened. And they know. Does yours know warm places that it particularly?
Oh yeah. Certain places. And then you find out, there is a pipe that goes underneath the floor there, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've been bringing frogs into the kitchen. We've got a little pond and there's frogs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They don't damage them.
Well,
too much.
ours hasn't gone out yet. She's just been done. Well, she'd been done 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and so she hasn't stepped out into the wider world yet. So that whole bringing the half-dead mite and not letting it die.
That's
keep
it.
playing with it. Do they do the same with the frogs?
Yes. Yes, they do the same with the frogs and mice.
Oh, it's
They
horrible. I know. That's part of having a
But
cat.
they've got that. It is, and they've got that instinct with mice. I think.
Well,
That must be is it a
it's
is it
a
hardwired?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how much we're hardwired to do. We have to learn from memory, or from. I think.
Yes, from repetition.
Yeah, repetition.
You
know, if a human being was just left, a cat can grow up. Doesn't have to be taught things.
No, the basics it will learn with its. No. The dad cats hang about.
No,
They don't.
No. They're just off.
So it would learn how to feed, maybe a little bit of basics on hunting, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
They'd survive or not. Same like, but with birds as well.
I think as a human, as a man, and somewhat older than you, and I can look back and thinking, fuck. You can just see that it's your primal instincts. It's a lot of the time. You think you're this right-thinking person. I don't mean right. I mean as in left, right. Whatever person.
Yeah.
You should look back and thinking, I've just been driven by some primal instincts.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
by.
And what?
I've got to ask now. Do you know how long we've been doing this now for?
I don't know. I don't. Without my I can't. Hold on.
You're gonna.
Let's have a look. Well, it's